Hi there, and thanks for watching Canceling COVID. It's a real platform, an opportunity for us to bring you real talk from trustworthy community leaders about what's happening as this disease continues to devastate so many people's lives. And perhaps you're someone or your loved one hasn't experienced the disease, but no one can deny the fact that it's impacted them in some form or fashion, whether it's our businesses, whether it's our finances, it's impacted our schools, and it continues to have an impact. Now, just to put this into perspective, the US had its worst day ever for COVID 19 deaths on yesterday. Listen carefully, 4,320 people died as a result of COVID 19. And that was yesterday alone. So the numbers you see continue to go up. We're talking 4,300 lives that transition as a result of this disease. And we're still trying to get a handle on it. So, what we're doing here is having a real frank conversation about COVID 19. Now, here in Mecklenburg County, we had 73,000 cases. That's 73,000 cases of COVID 19. And it's so alarming now that the health director here with Mecklenburg County Health, she has asked that schools, at least and businesses, all be virtual for at least the next 3 weeks. And again, it's because of the impact. We're going in the wrong direction, folks. The numbers are going up instead of down. So we're all practicing, of course, washing our hands. The physical distancing of 6 feet and wearing our mask, and the vaccinations have started. But of course, we still see that the numbers are taking a while to get to where we need to get to. Now, another COVID related issue in our community is the homelessness population. We've got more than 13,000 local families that were evicted from their homes. This was in 2020. That's according to Spectrum News. 13,000 families found themselves homeless. And here we have this pandemic that continues to impact lives. That number is pretty sobering when you think about Charlotte already suffering with the issue of affordable housing. That's nothing that just happened overnight. And perhaps you've seen the tent city that continues, looks like, to grow every day as you pass by there. And the affordable housing issue was before the pandemic even hit. So we're today going to focus on giving a voice to those families who have lost or nearly lost everything as a result of COVID and the financial strain that it has placed on their lives. Now, so many families out there is like my next guest who I'll bring in. Her name is Amy. Local charities and nonprofits, well, they're trying to do their part. They really are. But to fill this gap, it's going to take a lot more. There are petitions rather, that are circulating to protect people from homelessness, as well as petitions to get more emergency shelters. But this takes money, it takes time. And what I want to do right now is share a little about a group that's focused on spreading hope to the hopeless and the homeless. Hopefully, you were enlightened by seeing that bit of information. And God bless everyone that's working out in the community to help assist those that need our help. As I bring in our next guest, I mentioned Amy. She is going to join us. She is someone, and that's not Amy, that's Adrian. So we'll talk to Adrian first and then bring up Amy. Hey guys, this is live and my producer is working. But we're going to talk to Adrian. And Adrian, you are with Hope Vibes. And I was just thrilled when I was able to connect with you because the idea for a Hope Vibes is something that you have created. It's a mobile shower and a laundry unit. How in the world did you come up with that? Because it seemed like when people come up with these ideas, you're like, wow, that makes all the sense in the world. How did you come up with it?
Yeah, so our nonprofit is called Hope Vibes. The vehicle is called the Hope Tank. And actually, the vehicle came to my husband in the form of a dream. He had this dream about seeing a large vehicle, almost like a bus or box truck that looked like very artsy, very creative, and it had within it mobile laundry units and
Mm-hmm.
access to showers. And so we kind of sat on it for a while, but then we began to just dream big, draw up some plans. And that was back in 2017. And so it wasn't until about 2019 when we finally were able to purchase the actual vehicle through a grant from the African American Community Foundation and then start building.
Well, thank you so much for that. And there's nothing like feeling clean, to be able to
Yeah.
wash off and just feel refreshed. So, what type of feedback are you getting from the people you're serving?
My favorite piece of feedback that we have been getting regularly from the people that we serve is that it feels like home. And that was the exact feeling we were going for the restroom area. We wanted people to be able to go inside of the truck and have a moment of relief, where they could feel safe and secure as they take time to clean themselves. But we didn't just want it to be a sterile environment. We wanted it to be clean, but we wanted it also to have this sense of being at home for a moment. And so, surprisingly, without us ever having to prompt people, one of the first things that they say when they come out, when we ask them how was their experience, is that it felt like being at home.
Oh, you're such an angel to even provide this to those in the homeless community. And I described it not to offend anyone as hopeless and homeless, but it's tough when you're out without a home. And the worst thing to have to experience is to lose hope. I feel like as long as you have hope and are inspired that things will get better, or there's an
Mhm,
opportunity for it to get better, then it makes all of our lives much better. And you all started this Hope Vibes, before the pandemic hit.
mhm,
So, kind of talk about how it was before to where you are now. I know it's
mhm.
been a huge impact.
So our work didn't necessarily change; it just intensified and increased. We had to figure out how to serve people with less in a certain kind of framework. In terms of our serve days, we used to have anywhere from 50 to 200 volunteers that would come out and assist us in meeting the needs of the homeless. We had to significantly scale that back because of efforts to social distance and keep everyone safe. We actually for months we closed down the opportunity to serve to the general public. Um, in terms of our homeless neighbors, though, their needs were still the same. They still needed access to hygiene products. They still needed a place to shower, to use the bathroom, to clean their clothes. And it was even more of a challenge for them after COVID happened because some of the places that they could frequent before to meet those needs were no longer open because of quarantine and stay at home orders and things like that. They didn't have the same luxuries that those of us who have a home, like a physical house,
Right.
the same things that we have. And so we really focused on continuing to amplify their voices, hear what their concerns were, and then figure out how we could innovate new ideas to meet some of those needs. And so one of the things that we created at the wake of COVID in Charlotte was our solar sink stations. We realized that the health departments were putting a high emphasis on, hey, everybody needs to wash your hands to help
Right.
stop
Right.
the spread of the virus. Well, if you're living in a tent, where do you wash your hands at? And so
So now the solar sinks, do you guys have set some of those out around the city as well?
we do. So we have a few out. We're still working with some of the designs to make it better. Like, for example, it's wintertime now. So we want to heat the water for our system.
Right.
But we do currently have one that's at Kipling Auto. They allow homeless neighbors who have a car to park their car there and sleep overnight for safety purposes. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's very nice of them. So the adjustment now, obviously, you were impacted in a tremendous way. But how do people get an opportunity to even use your services? Is this
Mhm,
something that they have to make an appointment? Because obviously, if
mhm.
they're at Tent City, they don't have access. So how does your system actually work?
So we have a schedule of locations that we go to each week. And we typically will go to the area that we'll be serving at the day before and kind of pass out some information to some of the neighbors that are already there, so that they know that we'll be coming there and they'll know what time we'll be there. Also, some of our homeless neighbors follow us on social media, and so they're able to see new dates that are released in terms of our schedule. So we serve both uptown and then we also serve in some of the tent camp communities that are outside of the uptown area, like North Lake, Matthews, couple other different regions within the
Well,
city.
you already hit the nail on the head when you just said Matthews, and people think
Hmm.
the suburbs and outside the city, there is no need. But trust me, I'm out in North Mecklenburg, and
Yeah.
there's a need out there as well. You start seeing the population start to grow and grow. It has to be quite gratifying for you guys. Again, hope vibes and what you're able to do. Tell me what it feels like when you're helping these guys.
There is a sense of gratification to an extent, but at the same time, sometimes it's very weighty. Just because I always have this sense of I wish that I could do more. Um,
Yeah,
I know that they really appreciate, like they like really appreciate having the access to something like this, knowing that we're not funded by the city, so we're doing this out of just we. This is something that we really felt like we were supposed to do. But I'm looking forward to the day when we are able to implement some of our housing ideas to help people literally get off the streets.
hats off to you all again. What an amazing concept that's right before our eyes. And obviously, you touched on the funding. What is needed for you all to really expand and to make a bigger impact here in our community?
Hmm. We're always looking for additional monthly supporters. The need is so like crazy here in our city and surrounding areas, especially since we've released the Hope Tank. We've been getting literally requests through email, through social
Oh,
media asking, hey, there's this tent camp community in my area. Can you come and bring the Hope Tank here? Even beyond, like you said, in Matthews, but Fort Mill, Rock Hill, Denver, North Carolina, all of these different places are looking for assistance. And so it takes resources to be able to fill up our 300 gallon water tank,
yeah.
and put gas in it and put fuel in the generators. Like all of that takes resources. And so that's a huge need that we have. And also something as simple as we're about to start a new collection drive for underwear.
Okay.
It's something that's a huge need for people as they're coming to use our services. When you take a shower, you don't want to put on dirty underwear, and so
No, you don't.
the clothes are
No.
in the laundry unit. Having something as simple as that is really helpful to people as well.
Well, God bless you again. I can't say it enough. I really appreciate what you've started. You're an angel, obviously, to so many in the community, a concept that hopefully, now that you all have planted this seed, that it will take off and grow and that you're able to help many, many more. Give out some information so that people can get in touch with you.
Sure, you can always go to our website at hopevibes.org. That's HOPEVIBS.org. And we're all on all social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all at Hope Vibes CLT.
Adrienne, again, thank you so much. And I want to put a challenge as we head over to our next guest. Faith community, this is really something that would be so impactful, especially for the groups that are looking to do something, our young people looking to have an impact. Hope Vibes has already started something that's really impactful, that's really making a difference. Imagine being homeless and not even being able to just brush your teeth, wash your face, things that we take for granted, and that refreshing feeling, we all know how good it feels when we've taken a shower after a long day or a hop in the tub when you just want to wind down. These individuals don't have that luxury. And, my heart goes out to all that are homeless at the moment, and especially for those servants now that are out here trying to help out. Hope Vibes and Adrienne and her wonderful husband, a vision that they have been able to start pursuing, and we need to help them as they continue to bless others in the community. Now, I want to also talk to another guest. We talked about the homelessness, and I've got a guest scheduled. Her name is Amy, and Amy is there. There you are. I thought I was going to bring you on before, but good afternoon. And I just want to jump in and talk to you, Amy, because you and I were just talking earlier, and one of the points that I was making is that out of the 606 billionaires in the country right now, they have tripled, quadrupled their profit. Where as just the average people, we're just scrambling, struggling to get by. And of course, your story is you and your husband, y'all were working to build a better life for your family. And then you had a medical emergency that kind of just blindsided you. Tell us more about that.
So I have 5 children. With my last pregnancy, my son's name is Cruz. We found out that I had a condition called placenta precreta. And what that is it's when your uterus invades all of your internal organs and attaches to
Mhm.
them. So, in order to prepare mentally for that, I had worked all the way up until the days of my surgery for my other kids, but I was just so worried and stressed. I quit work like 3 days
Yeah.
after I found out about the condition, and basically I sat home and worried for six
Oh,
months. But everything went fine. We went to Duke Hospital, and they were wonderful, and they saved my life and his. So yeah, the outcome was wonderful. It just cost us,
because Amy, what happened is you went from two incomes to one, then the pandemic hit, and now all of a sudden you've got a totally different outcome. And tell us how that happened or how it felt, really.
well, you feel helpless because there's nothing you can do. We've always worked. We've always had a job to support our kids because I want them to have the best life possible. Like, that's every day I wake up, I think, what can I do for these kids? What can I do to make it better? And when you don't have two incomes, that takes away your ability to do that. And you can't make anybody give you a job, right? So it,
Right.
it gives you this really sad feeling of helplessness. And I did some work. I mean, I do work at home. I have an arts and crafts business that I'm trying to get started up. But when the pandemic hit, it hit everyone. It didn't just hit us.
Right. Everybody's been affected by it. And of course, we're showing some pictures of your beautiful family right now. And, one of the things is you're facing eviction right now. And talk about how challenging this has been and how you've been working and navigating around this. Yes. So maybe having a little bit of technical difficulties, Amy. I'll get back to you because only I am on the screen right now as my producer works to take care of that. Again, you notice on the bottom you've got the scroll of where you can find a location as well as a phone number for testing sites. There's Amy back, and Amy, you were talking about eviction. My producer is the bestest. Look, she's the best, guys, really, and we've got a chemistry. So I know if I need to give her a little bit more time to work it out, I know she's going to handle it. So you were talking about the eviction and what it's like, and typically you said you're normally able to find somewhere else. You've been evicted before, but right now you've got a hearing coming up on the 20th, so not many days from here. The 20th is a big day for you. If it doesn't go in your favor, then how are you going to handle it?
I, it's hard because it's out of my control. So I don't know what we'll do or how I'll handle it. But what I feel is that, you know, I've done a lot of thinking about it, and I'm confident something will come through. Even if it's out of my control, I feel that um, I don't think that we'll have to be on the streets. Also, one of the better things is that our parents are willing to let us move in. And while that would be really uncomfortable to slam 6 additional people in a 3-bedroom house, it is a better option than being on the streets. And that's an option some people don't have, which is really sad.
That's Amen. And as we know, all it takes is faith the size of a mustard seed. So we're praying with you and hoping that this all will come through. And you're right, that's better than the option of being on the streets, you and your family. Now, do you think that the current laws that we have? I mean, I've heard about under COVID, the Act covers the whole issue of. This moratorium on evictions. I'm not so sure if everyone's been abiding by it. Some people have been able to get additional time. Do you think these laws go far enough, or what would you like to see happen?
So the interesting thing about that is the moratorium. We fell in the 20-day gap where there was no moratorium, and the CARES Act only helps people who are behind on rent, which we weren't. We paid late twice over the summer, but we had the rent paid in full before the end of the month. Our landlord just decided that she didn't want to renew our lease. So there's a lot of loops and things that need to be covered in order to protect people, because I mean, her deciding that she doesn't want to rent to us anymore isn't our fault. We didn't do anything
Right.
wrong, so there's a lot of gaps that I think that the current or the administration will need to be able to address whenever that is.
And what's the balance? I get it as a business owner here. If you got a tenant and you need the money to pay your all of the fees and bills that you have, but you also have a family here that's struggling that doesn't have access to it. And this is going to take a mountain load of policies and considerations to try to help and assist everyone. We wish you all the best on the 20th, that's for sure. Your family, a beautiful family, we send all the best to you as well. In parting, would you like to share something with another family that may be facing the same as you?
Just hold on. I know it's scary, but
Mm.
I have full faith that we'll all be all right.
Oh, we're praying for you, Amy, and your wonderful family. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate it. Folks,
Thank
this
you.
is real talk, real conversation about how we can deal with others facing these issues and what we should be doing, not just because we're not impacted, because everyone's impacted. Yeah, I'm sitting here in my home, but you heard that in her voice and the tears. I mean, just heart wrenching. She's got a family she's trying to provide for. To no fault of her own that she had this medical condition, and now they're trying to figure out where they're going to go when she has to head back to court on the 20th. I did want to share, Beyonce has kicked off an initiative. She partnered with the NAACP, and folks can apply for funding. It's up to $5,000, and go to the Facebook page. Again, Beyonce and NAACP partnering, and you fill out the application. But the deadline is January 15th. So January 15th is the last day to apply. That's just a few more days, but spread the word, folks. And I see some of you hopping on and watching. I really appreciate it. We want to continue to get the word out and to let people know that we're having this conversation, because it takes all platforms, and we've got so many different topics that we can talk about, and we'll continue to talk about that, whether it's impacting our businesses, our homes, our finances, our schools. There's a lot happening, and we have got to pull together and figure a way out. And there's been a report now that it's going to be beyond 2021 before herd immunity kicks in. And I just want to make sure that we all know, even with the efforts that we're taking, it's going to be well into this year before we see a whole lot of daylight. So we just have to be patient and diligent. We'll get through this together. I also want to share this information I received from Atrium Health. Coming up on Monday at 10 a.m., they are hosting a blood drive. And what I thought really interesting about what Atrium Health Huntersville is offering, donors will get a $10 e-gift card. They'll also get a t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt, a free appetizer courtesy of Carrabba's, but you'll get a wellness checkup, and it will include whether you have the COVID-19 antibody. So you'll get the COVID-19 antibody test. And I found that to be interesting because a lot of people have had it. A lot of people think they've had it. And this will let you know if you have the antibody or not. I see Mr. G Man hopping on saying hello. I appreciate that. Hope Vibe people are just put up their information for donations if you want to support them. It's just a great, great way to give back. Again, just trying to imagine not being able to wash, even if you're going when we go and serve others and take for granted what we have. We all have to be so grateful. As we start to wrap things up, of course, we host this forum every Wednesday and Friday. It's at 1 p.m. and we're really appreciative for the new sponsors that have hopped on. We're grateful for people that are watching. I need you to help share it, though. We need more people. We need more eyes on. You heard the conversation with Amy. My heart goes out to her and what she's dealing with. And of course, we've got new lawmakers, some in that are conducting business for the new year. I'm hopeful and prayerful that a lot of these issues will be addressed. If you want to submit information, or if you would love to be a guest on canceling COVID, arrivinstanya@gmail.com. And a shout out to some of the sponsors that are now coming on board to help us as we continue to share this information with you. Before I let you go, always talking, just wanted to share a couple more things with you. So far, we're making some progress with the vaccine, but only 9 million has been vaccinated. More than 27 million vaccine doses have been distributed in the US. And there is word that now, well, it's been released that 65 and older will now have access, whereas before it's been 75. Keep in mind, you have access at Bojangles Coliseum and other locations to start getting the vaccine. As we wrap things up now, I know my producer's ready to go. Canceling COVID back here on Friday, 1 o'clock. Please join us as we continue to have conversation. We've got some really important guests that are more than happy to come on and share some great information with you. Have a great day, and thanks for watching Canceling COVID. I'm Tanya Rivens.